What's up, YouTube? Long time no see for you and me, but welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about this situation that's unfolding with Brother Polight and also the situation that is unfolding with R. Kelly. And one, I don't really know a whole lot about Brother Polight. I know that he's kind of like in the conscious woke community, and he's popular in that sector. However, the only time that I really heard of him was like a bit of a scandal that happened some years back where he was caught out and about with Rebecca. And like right then and there, I'm thinking, well, shouldn't Brother Polight have been canceled and discarded then? You know, and if that was done, we probably wouldn't be in this situation here. Talking about whether if he did the things that are alleged that he has done or not. But for one reason or another, he was able to, you know, skate by and get through that situation. So now we're here, and currently it's being alleged that Brother Polight engaged in some sort of sexual activity with an underage girl who is the daughter of one of his girlfriends or girlfriend. I think they're like into like polygamy. I think, Brother Polight is into like, polygamy, multiple, being married to multiple partners, something like that. Some sort of like polygamy type of setup. So he's being alleged that he's engaged in some sort of sexual activity, and they're saying that his DNA was found on this underage girl in many places on her body. He has come out and spoken about it. I don't think him coming out and saying anything really helped for him, like helped this situation. But there are some people in our community who are predator protectors. Again, that's why R. Kelly has been able to do what he's been doing for so long. And I'm not saying that predator protecting is exclusive to the black community, because it's not. I think it's, throughout, in many different communities and groups of people. So I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is people in the black community engage in predator protection and protecting predators and finding ways to either downplay what they did, ignore what they did, or blame the victim, usually a black girl, and perhaps sometimes a black woman, usually blaming them, get into victim blaming at that point, saying that they should have, they knew what time it was. Them fast little girls, they know what time it is. I know the YouTuber Tanya TKO did some sort of a live stream where she was concentrating on this comment that a black woman was saying, pretty much saying that, these young girls, they fast, and that that young girl probably seduced Brother Polight, and basically putting it all on the young girl and saying that basically she like seduced him and set him up or something to that effect, right? And I'm like, wow, 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 oh, wow, okay. And to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't have kids, but if and when I do have kids, I definitely have to be weary of who I let my kids around, especially if I have daughters, because some of y'all ain't right, But some of these black women do engage in predator protecting, particularly protecting black male predators. because it's some sort of a like, it comes from being black male identified, right? No, I tend to see this very strongly in women who are black male identified. Sometimes these women are referred to as, mammy pick me mules. Um, but definitely finding, I see that. And of course, you do see black men engaging in this as well because they are trying, like black men are trying to protect the black men's public image. And also because I don't know, I feel like some of these dudes want to be able to do this and get away with it. Or either do this and, not have any sort of repercussions for doing it. Right? Even, if they're not doing it themselves, it's something about, and also people feeling like, oh, taking a black man to task is like anti-black. I do feel like there's some sentiment about that. Like, holding a black man accountable for his actions, that's anti-black. Oh, you're working with the system. You're colluding with white supremacy on that. Right? That's the game that they'll run. Right? That's the game. You know? Um, man, yeah. But this is where we are right now. I did hear a rumor, though, that Brother Polight may have accepted a plea bargain. I'm not sure if that is true, but that's something that I heard. And also I heard that, this is all just a setup and, they're trying to set up Brother Polight because, he was in the talks to buy NBC. And the powers that be, they wasn't feeling that, so they came up with this whole situation to tarnish Brother Polight's image. And, the same thing with R. Kelly. He was in the talks to buy NBC too. But then they wanted to bring up all this stuff about R. Kelly that they knew about already. And Charlemagne, he was in the talks to buy NBC too. But then they wanted to bring up some allegations from a woman, or actually a young girl at the time, of some inappropriate sexual activity that he engaged in with her that was not consensual. So, the argument becomes that, oh, they're trying to bring a brother down. And if you participate, then you part of, white supremacy. You've been whitewashed and brainwashed to bring down a black man. You were anti-black, etc., 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 right? More gain, right? But I do feel like black people, especially black men, are a bit more against R. Kelly right now because it's come out that R. Kelly may have possibly, allegedly engaged in some sort of inappropriate sexual activity with a boy or a young man. And I think more so people are taking issues with that because, oh, R. Kelly is a homosexual now. Oh, we didn't know that before when we were defending him. Oh, well, that changes everything, right? Versus, oh, well, he's has a even longer history and more victims than we think are out there, right? Um, so yeah, so that becomes the argument now, right? That, oh, well, I didn't know R. Kelly was doing all that. Right, but it was all cool and good in the hood when it was just girls, young girls. Oh, they knew what time it was. Them fast little girls, they knew what's up. They knew what's up now, and their parents knew what was up too. So blame their parents, right? They mama don't blame their daddy though, even though the dad was there too, right? They black daddy was there too. Um, but yeah. Um, So I guess where I'm at with it is like not speculating, but wondering why the need for predator protecting in these situations. Why do people feel the need to do that? And I think because, as I mentioned before, I think in the community, people feel like, black men are victims, that victim narrative. So we have to be very empathetic to the Black King's plight, right? But ultimately, people use that as a way to kind of like be manipulative and to avoid accountability and being responsible for the actions that you engaged in. But it goes to show you that people, they are all right with certain types of degeneracy. Not all types of degeneracy, but certain types of degeneracy they're all right with. Right? Interesting. That's really interesting. Um, and then I saw some people in the comment section of the video, and it was a black woman talking about she ain't gonna throw away her R. Kelly. She ain't gonna stop listening to R. Kelly. I don't care what he did. I'm still gonna listen to my R. Kelly. Yeah, it's just like, was that really necessary for you to post? And again, I have to point this out because it's one thing when people do something that's wrong. It's another thing when there's a whole group of people who pretty much enable people to continue to do wrong and say that what they did was okay and that there's no problem with it and try to defend it and justify it, or either just ignore it. And I had thought about something too. Y'all remember when R. Kelly made that whole kind of like trapped in the closet, like music video story saga thing? That was years ago. And I was thinking, I had that popped into my mind today. And I was thinking, considering all these allegations and stuff, I'm like, was R. Kelly like, you know, quote unquote, living his truth through his music? Y'all remember that storyline where like it was like a man, like a husband and his wife, and then the husband was cheating on the wife with like a dude from the church that they go to or something like that. I'm like, it's very, especially knowing what we know now. I'm like, side eye here. um, but oddly enough, though the wife and husband, like the actors who play them, actually got married. I think they met on the set and ended up hitting it off, so they wound up getting married. Interesting. I don't feel like that was probably the best role, but hey, I guess if it works for them, that's what's up, though. Right? Black love, y'all. Just make sure it ain't black struggle love. Dusty black love. You know. But in regards to R. Kelly, though, what really popped things off as far as R. Kelly getting put into jail was that documentary that was aired on Lifetime. Essentially, basically, white folks got involved, right? If it was left up purely to black folks, R. Kelly would still be out and about doing whatever it is he do. All right. So let's not pretend like we had some strong black heroes, strong black kings really coming through and doing real things, right? Because we're not when it counts, right? Not when it counts. We don't really have that. So we have to be honest about that. When situations like this come up, for some reason, folks like to get real quiet or either start finding ways to defend what was being done, to downplay what's being done, to just say that, hey, that's something, and keep it pushing. But I think I've mentioned all I have to say for the moment about this situation. This is really just more so calling out predator protectors and the predator protector culture, if you will, or at least that mindset, and just using these two situations that are currently going on with Brother Polight and R. Kelly as sort of like case studies, references, etc. But thanks a lot for watching this video. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.